Alrighty, let me actually close my WhatsApp. What's up? What's happening, guys? As we can see, Bitcoin is a total of 0.1% down for the day. It's hitting this massive range of moving 1% every week. Crazy, lots of fun, right? Guys, the big thing for today is don't sleep on all the altcoins. There is still major altcoins that are popping, and I've basically decided to change the strategy for the day. Is let's focus where the money is going right now, because clearly we do have a sideways trending Bitcoin, but we do have some altcoins that are exploding, and we have altcoins that are showing quite strong signs of breaking certain indicators and showing tremendous amount of strength to Bitcoin. So I'm going to go through 6 of the altcoins that I think are really strong right now, that is showing a good amount of buying volume. And I'm going to give you the indicators to pay attention to, that if we hold these levels, we will continue the strength with these altcoins. I do expect a short-term pullback for the day. It looks like we do have the higher time RSIs resetting on Bitcoin as well as in the stock market as well. And this could be more buying opportunities for some altcoins, but let's actually go through it. Massive show, guys. James, smash a button!
Click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the charts, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the charts, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, what is happening? Let me take us off quick. Hope you're all having a fantastic day out there. As I said, guys, we do have altcoins moving. We have some altcoins that are doing actually pretty well out there. So I think let's put focus on there while we wait for the... It's not even a bear market, it's a boring market actually, but there is still tons of things for us to learn, and obviously we got to start moving where the smart money is at, because we do have some crazy moves. So if you're new, smash the subscribe button. If you're part of the family, smash the like button. I feel quite lost today. I don't have my headphones on, so I'm using these things. It feels pretty weird. I'm used to my headphones, so do mind if I do touch here quite a bit. Remember, guys, as I'm getting in, remember we do have the 2 trading competitions. The one I'm doing really well in, the one I'm doing pretty shitty in. So this one was really good, but ultimately we've had a little bit of a pullback in the market. So right now I'm sitting 200th. I was 16th yesterday, but I do have a plan for this account, and I am busy building a trade as we speak. Remember, guys, to join the trading competition, if you have a look below in the description, you will see the ByBit or the BitGet competition. This is a great way, guys. I think we got up to nearly 2,000 people between the 2 platforms now trading. It's a great way for you to rate yourself. And obviously, if you do really well, you have the chance of winning the prizes as well. This one, currently, I'm sitting 200. This one, I am sitting 2nd. So I'm fighting another guy right now for first place. We're busy fighting pretty hard. This is because of my THETA trade. I'm going to go through THETA with you guys because I think this is possibly a really big breakout. They do have the main net coming at the end of the year, and we're breaking a really long-term, good 3 to 6 month term trend line, and we're seeing great volume there as well. So I'll go through that for you shortly as well. Remember, guys, we have Discord as well, all below in the description. In order to be a VIP, you've got to be using one of our referral links. So if you're looking to open an exchange, click on either ByBit, BitGet, or OKX. They're also a new sponsor of the show. Great platform. I'm starting to use them quite a bit, and I do like their volume as well and their selection of tokens. So let's get in, guys. As you can see, I'm coming. So my goal is trading competition. I think the position that I have on THETA, I think it's going to destroy. I think it's going to get this to 1,000 to 2,000%. I have good news on the trading competition as well, is we are extending it for a whole nother month. So there's tons of time. Now, important thing, if you want to do well in the competition or anything like that, is to understand this is a marathon and it's not a sprint. So take your time, take profits, take a breather. You don't have to trade every single day. Very important, which means I got to strategize and take this nice and easy so I can get this to a high point. But at least, we're getting some strong momentum there. And as I said, with ByBit, I'm still getting there. So guys, Bitcoin still not doing anything right now. I'm not really going to focus too much on Bitcoin right now. What we do have is we had the wick off yesterday. We had this big candle that formed 2-3 days ago on Sunday. Gave us a good little breakthrough. We're still fighting that major weekly trend line where we broke through yesterday. We are currently above it, but we are still waiting for the key area of breaking the 19,700. That for me is still resistance. That's still the area. If we break that, we can start to get momentum, hopefully to the 22K sort of area. So not much has really changed with Bitcoin. I'd say 19K is probably a really good support, a reason, area that we want to hold to know we're not going back down to the 17, 18K support zone as previous. And remember, guys, ultimately what we're doing here is Bitcoin's clearly ranging. It's clearly ranging. It's clearly in accumulation, which can take some time. This is the flushing out stage. It is a boring stage. It is the irritating stage. But we got to continuously shift to what the market is giving us. So that's basically on that point. Let's quickly go through. I don't want to spend too much time on this at all. Stock markets, pretty good, not too bad of where it is at the moment. It is looking like we might have a short-term pullback at any point. We do want the stock market to obviously continue this momentum. It's not too bad as we speak. If we actually have a look, we've got midterm elections, and stock market right now is probably, let's have a look over here, 17% from all-time high. It's quite interesting to see what they do this year. Do they send the stock market up into midterm? Because we do have the Dixie that's obviously been ripping and doing really, really, really well. Again, another important time to pay a lot of attention to is we are again at support. When we finally lose this, will be a good time for us to understand that we should have a nice little bullish leg. Yes, we are in a bear market. It can stay for the next year or two, but ultimately we're still going to have bull and bear legs throughout the cycle, and we've got to pay attention. So the Dixie, pay attention to this chart and see if we break that, get ready. As I said, I believe there's one more push throughout the rest of this year, maybe even the start of next year. I'm probably using that to exit a lot of my portfolio and prepare for depression. I still feel people have money, so I feel there's still more blood in the street to come within next year. I still think it's going to take some time. So I'm using the next leg. But the next leg for me, I'm basically working on, at some point, 100% growth in my portfolio. Looking at doubling my portfolio, ultimately, hopefully tripling. And in order for me to do that, I do have to have a separation of my accounts between the safety tokens, your Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then looking at more medium risk tokens and more low risk tokens. I have to have a diversified portfolio throughout those times if I want to get those gains. So I am currently looking at some gaming projects. I am currently looking to diversify a bit so that I can get what I need in order to get out of the market. Ultimately, I'm prepping myself when I'm getting out that this is a 2-year sort of fight. So if it's a 2-year fight, I need to make sure that I have money for those 2 years. I need to make sure that we save. Just be clever to know that the real money can possibly only be made in the next year or two. Real money. I still think real money, I mean 10x, 20x, 30x, crazy money. Money that changes your whole life and gets you. In that time, we are going to have opportunities to build our accounts, but just prep for the marathon. Maybe it changes. We will see. But just pay attention to that. We've got the 10-year yield starting to form some, lower high, a little bit of a red candle here. Let's see what it does. It's got one more support down in these areas. If we do break that, let's pay attention to the Dixie and the 10-year yield, because if we finally lose that momentum, I think we are going to start turning and we'll have a little bit of a bullish leg. Doesn't change anything, but 25K, 30K Bitcoin can help us right now, and it'll make things a lot more interesting. Last thing over here, dominance. You could see it did break that trend. This is still possibly what I'm seeing here. Short-term little bounce today. You can see there's a possible another small pullback that's happening today. Probably go test the lows of yesterday and the support of Bitcoin at 19K. But after that, I do see the retest here and another possible leg down, which means I'm still focused on the altcoins and looking at positioning right. And we do have the USDT dominance as well, which is basically just trending sideways. It is lower highs and lower lows right now, but it is holding the 50 MA. So guys, one thing I do want to show you guys today is we're going to be using the 50 MA quite a bit, because the 50 MA has actually been a good indicator with a lot of coins, because you want to basically know now, if the market does pop at any point, what indicators and what are we using to track to see what's stronger than the rest. I don't think everything's going to go crazy. I think specific alts will run with Bitcoin and outperform a lot more. Very similar to MATIC. You know, MATIC's been doing really well in the current market. It's done well. It's had a lot of strength, and there's a few others which I'll go through shortly. But we're going to be using the 50 MA. So make sure you do have that loaded up so I can show you guys what we're looking at with this indicator. But ultimately, when we drop the 50 MA over here on the USDT dominance, we can start to see a reversal. It is still a current big lower high. So if we can get the play of, you know, basically us here, here, and a correction down, that would be really bullish and will give us, we're looking for this leg. We can get this ultimate leg over here. That will give us what we need to really get some momentum again and to prep our portfolios and get that right. And I'll be paying a lot of attention to helping with prepping for a long-term bear market and all that through that time. As I said, for now, we focused on the actual coins. So let me jump into what I'm thinking and what's looking pretty good. I do have a few movers and ones that are looking pretty strong at the moment. Let's go through the first one, which is THETA. This is good, guys. We've been waiting quite a while for the THETA breakout. You could see here how basically we've been forming this trend over the last few weeks on THETA. And what is really good about it is the amount of touches on this trend line. There is plenty touches on the trend line. And ultimately, we've been waiting for the break. And look how, as soon as the break happens, look how all of a sudden volume comes in. Another thing with the volume indicator, guys, is standard. It does come. Just make sure you do have it, but make sure you got the volume moving average. Make sure you got that set up there on there as well. And that's just going to help you determine what's the average volume and when we're starting to get higher volume than what the average is, because it usually comes on breaker trends or key areas. But I'm going to be using that today as well to show you guys, because you can clearly see how volume is now starting to come in with THETA. So what I'm looking at over here is, firstly, we had the MA, and the MA is important, the 50 MA, because we did have a few times where we slightly broke above it, but we did not hold it and ended up getting rejected. And what we're looking at now is, why were we getting rejected? It's because the trend line was at that area as well. And we're basically having a fight between horizontals and trend lines throughout that time. And that's why we weren't holding. Now, the difference this time is we have broken the MA again, but we've also broken the trend line and we've broken the horizontal. So we've got three indicators that flashed now for the THETA breakout. So what I'm looking at with THETA is, I currently have a position. It's this position over here. I started this account with $300. I'm on $1,056 now with the position that I have. I did have my entry at around 96 cents, but I ended up building it up yesterday into a bigger amount, which is basically left my entry at $1. $1 for me. The reason why I had no problem with building my position at that time is because the dollar is still under this trend line and it's still under the 50 MA. So what I'm looking at here is, I do have a short-term take profit strategy on this. I do think THETA goes up to around 1.1. I think the RSIs get quite high, because you can see the 12 hours getting pretty high, the 8 hours getting pretty high. So I am looking at a pullback. I don't think the high is in just yet. I think we go higher from here. And then what I'm looking at is this inverse head and shoulders. We basically test this area. Maybe we break through. We'll see. But other than that, I'm looking at a right shoulder form over here. I'm taking advantage. I'm loading up more over there. This is one of the bullish charts for me. It's got news, mainnet end of the year. And THETA likes to run. You know, I like to put myself back. I can't believe it, actually. Look at this run, guys, that THETA went on last time. Look at this. And it was the same time. It was literally November. Look over here. November. Now, I'm not saying anywhere near that we run similar to that, but when this coin does move and get out of, look at this phase over here where we had a few weeks of just trending. And now we got the same thing, trending. And all of a sudden, THETA just went, it ripped. It literally went from 50 cents all the way in 2 months. to $16 throughout that time. So THETA's always been a really fun trading token for me, and it's always been a great way for me to accumulate dollars when its time is to come. Now, one thing that's great is we have a really trending down volume over here. So it's showing that 110 level is when we can start to get real volume in the areas. Now, where could THETA possibly go on this run? If we're looking at the news and all of that, and let's say even, we got to always think that if Bitcoin turns bullish, what happens to these tokens that are showing strength now? Now, if that does happen, I got a few short-term targets. My short-term targets is around 1.2, 1.3, and 1.5. Now, the difference is, though, is if we do start to get a really accelerated market and we get THETA through 1.6, this gap is massive, and you're looking at a $3. So we got to remember that ultimately we're fighting this big area over here, but you get that right entry and the market does explode. THETA outperforms the market tremendously. It does really, really crazy things when it's really bullish and really strong. And if we get through these resistance levels over here, we could possibly sitting on an entry that can ride us, yes, up to 1.6, which is great gains for us. But ultimately, we break through that, we could be sitting on something that can really bring us incredible gains. So remember, this has been a very hard time for us. It's been really hard. It hasn't been easy at times. But when you fight and you get that one entry, it's very similar to that time before the THETA bull run started. At these times, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Were we going to break? Were we not going to make it? But if you continued, because here you could see there was two fake outs in that long period of time. So you would have been annoyed because I'm buying breakouts. Oh, it's coming back in, buying breakout. But if you just kept the conviction and understand the pattern, understand where we at and these sort of things, you would have see how it rewarded you. And it's the same thing. So where we at right now. So remember where we are on the very high time frame. And remember that this could be a very early entry. All we can do is play with it and look strong. So what I'm looking at, guys, is anywhere between 1.3 to 1.4 is my add to spots sort of area. I do know that there's a possible leg coming down or retest at some level. I'm probably looking at about 1.1 retest and then the breakthrough. So if you didn't get any entries from yesterday, I did tweet on it, guys. Make sure you're following Twitter because we did catch it early yesterday at $1.02. We did catch it really well. So make sure you are following so I can help with that. But ultimately, you might have a second chance to load up more. So THETA definitely one of the strong ones. Next one, Chiliz. Now, Chiliz for me is obviously moving because of the World Cup. And I think it's going to create a lot more hype within the World Cup now coming up in November. I do think this token really rallies. It's been doing really well over the last few weeks, considering the rest of the markets. And the same thing. We've been looking at this 50 MA, and as long as we're above this 50 MA, it's always reacted really well. Now, if we look at the last time, we've really held a good movement there. Chiliz did do 150%. It done really well. Now, through that time, not only are we using the MA, we are also using the major trend line through that point. And you could see as soon as trend line broke, volume comes in too. So if we look at where we're at now, we do have a great trend line, a trend line that's basically been forming for the last 2 months. We're breaking out early over there. So for me, I'm looking at a retest buy because I do think we're going to hype up quite a bit into the World Cup. Remember, this token has a lot to do with sports, guys, a lot. And the World Cup's always a massive deal. So for me, anywhere around 1860, 0.186, and basically the 19-cent mark is my accumulating because this currently we're running against. Bitcoin hasn't been doing this last few days. We have. Chiliz has been doing that. So right now it's got this little horizontal where we're getting rejected as we speak. So I'm looking at a small rejection possibly from here to come and retest. I'm loading up on that area. We do have a higher high, and this will confirm the higher low. I do have the support. So basically the 17.9 cents sort of mark is my support, my area of protection. But from here, once we break through here, we get to the MA, the 50 MA, which is already at 10% from where we're at right now. After that, we start to break really key structures and we start getting back to the top of the range. Now, I do think this is one of the tokens we must pay attention to because if we do get a push from Bitcoin, I think Chiliz is going to rip. And I do actually think if we look at where we've been previously, look, if it breaks the weekly MA, look how we got volume trending down. So it means if we break the 50 MA, we can be looking at a strong push of volume. And weekly, guys, weekly, very important. If we break through and we hold that, look at the areas of where we could go test back to 30 cents, any of these sort of areas. So pay attention to Chiliz. Definitely one not buying right now. I'd buy on the retest. I do have Chiliz as we speak. I got the breakouts, but if we get the retest, look for that opportunity. The next one, guys, is MATIC. Quite strong. Looking really good. It did break through this big trend over here. We are starting to get volume go above the average, which is good. It is clearly making higher highs as we speak. If there is a dip off today and it does go around 84 cents, I am possibly topping up a little bit more of my MATIC. I want you to take the last two lows on the 12-hour, and I want you to draw that support trend. And that's just your protection line. As soon as we stop that momentum, you can then look to lower your risk, take some profits, these sort of things. But any test that we get here, I will be loading up. I am still looking at the 94 to the $1 mark on MATIC as a lot of resistance. But after that, the gap gets really big. And if we can get through this on a Bitcoin breakout or momentum over the next few weeks, we can be looking at a really strong momentum to the 1.3, 1.4. So pay attention on MATIC. The next one, guys, this one is still quite far from the major indicators, but I look on the weekly on Axie Infinity, and I look at where we are on the stochastic RSI, something that's never lied before, right? It's something that's always been really, really good to us, the stochastic weekly. The last time we were here was this area, and after that, it did grow 80%. Okay, now we are forming a pin bar candle, a reversal candle. RSI is reset, and we're at the previous high at this area over here on the weekly. So our RS flip, previous resistance into support is good. We do have another trend. So the way I'm basically trading this is I'm loading up a little bit now. Look at volume, guys. I just want to show you volume here. Look how volume is spiking up and doing pretty well. So remember what I spoke about yesterday is ultimately what I'm going to do is I'm going to try build a position up to this trend. The market starts to react well. I know Axie. I need a little bit more in the gaming industry because gaming is where you make crazy gains in any sort of bull leg. They do really well. So I'm looking at building up this little leg up to this area. So ultimately, by the time a major break comes out, which is this trend line over here, I can already have a full position. Otherwise, I'm going to do it only here. And then it's going to become quite hard for me to add or build the position that I want. But once we get through here, you can see how the range starts to move. And the next resistance for me is 50% away from where we're sitting right now. Now, if we break through that, ultimately, I'm just looking at us test the top range, which is basically in the region of 100%. So pay attention. I will be bringing this up in the next few shows as well. But pay attention on Axie because we're seeing some volume. We don't know why, but we're seeing volume. And we are seeing an engulfing candle. So if this engulfs today, remember, engulfing candle is big. If the green one is bigger than the red, it's starting to show you something and give you a little bit of an indication. The next one for me, which is Enjin. Enjin's on the daily trend right now as we speak. And if there is a bounce or any sort of push in Bitcoin, I think Enjin's going to be one of the ones that rocket through pretty quickly. We are on the verge of a possible volume above average breakout, which is important. But this is looking good. And I think it's quite early because if we go look at the weekly, same thing. We are at such an important level now. We have the RSI reset, which means I'm paying attention. Very high time frame. We are at an oversold position. Look where it's obviously come from. It's crazy. This was nearly at $4. Now I'm matching down this trend over here. And for me to top range is a good, 40, 50%. But ultimately, if the market rips from here, I am looking at Chiliz get to its areas of around 70 cents. This will be the target where I'll probably be taking quite a bit of profits. So pay attention on jumping to the 12-hour or the 8-hour. As soon as we get a close outside this trend, ultimately, this is how I want to see it play out. A little push out, finally secure the little higher high, get the retest, put my stop losses in, and then let it ride and start setting on my take profit orders on where we're looking at. But Enjin, definitely one of the stronger ones. Then we had Render, guys. Render, quite impressive to see the volume that's coming in. It is fighting a lot of resistance as we speak. This is a very wicky coin. So you can see the amount of wicks that we form at these areas. Now, we do have a RSI, which is overextended. So I'm not buying right now. But if we do have a pullback, in the market. And we do have a small shift down from render, and we hold anywhere between basically the 46 to the 48 cent mark will be my area of loading up on render. It is breaking a great trend. It is looking good, and we do have interest. We've got interest right now within volume as we speak. So render for me after this, if we hold this strong and I'm able to fill a bag, I am looking at the regions of us getting to around 70 cents. If not, get to the areas of 80 to the 90 cent mark to the top here. So you can see I'm focusing instead of, think about it. I've been speaking about Solana. I've been speaking about AVAX. The problem is these tokens aren't moving right now. So maybe they're still in accumulating. Maybe they're not ready to move right now. These tokens are tokens that are moving when the market's doing absolutely nothing. So we're focusing on why is the money there? Why is volume going there? And I think it's a strategy we should be sticking with now, is to follow where the money's at right now and keep with that. I see THETA's moving. How's my position here? Come on, I need that first place. I need it. Just to have some fun. Ultimately, guys, if I must tell you my goal, I want to win the ByBit competition. That one I need to work on because I need to get my eyes off the BitGet one, get that where it needs to be. But then the ByBit, I want to win both of the competitions, and then we drop Sniper School. Yeah, that's the goal, because Sniper School is going to be all of it. It's really exciting. I'm like 85% done. So it's coming. So pay attention on render, guys. Very strong, getting a lot of interest right now. And the last one I want to show you guys is Algo. So Algorand has broken trend, looking good. Volume is looking like it wants to be getting out of the average here. So for me, the danger zone is basically 30 cents. That's an area of where I'm protecting myself, just under that zone. But for me, I'm buying up 31 cents to the 32 cent mark. I'm loading up some Algo because we are outside of a 12-hour trend. We are coming to a critical stage, which is the 50 moving average on the 12-hour. If we break through this, the gap's pretty big. And ultimately, what I'm looking at with Algo is, oh, there's my drawing. Let me get this back over here. Ultimately, what I'm looking at over here is, look at this token, guys. Look where we at, man. Look where we at. It's actually crazy to see where we at. But a breakout here weekly, can show possible options of us getting to at least test these areas, and then new possible lows next year or something like that. But for me, it's showing 60, 70 cents. It's 100% up. This is what I'm looking at, guys. I'm seriously prepping. I do think we're in a bear market for a while, but I'm not sleeping on the next move, because if the next move can take me here, and then we go into depression, and then we start over the next, great. This one doubles to triples my account. Gives me a little bit more back, gets me to prep some more dollars, and it gets me to learn from all the previous mistakes and be ready in case this one comes at any point, which is really great. So don't sleep on the next move, guys. It can be big. So Algo is the last one that I want to show you guys. Okay, guys, if you enjoyed it, I'm going to be focusing on a lot more of the tokens. Use the 50 moving average. Use the weekly stochastic RSI. Remember the difference. If you're using 12-hour daily, you're focusing on short-term trades. I do think there's money to be made short time frame, especially if you're trading the right tokens. But weekly, if you want to build long-term portfolios, some of them are at the bottom. And if we have a push up to the upside, offload when we get to the top. Very simple. We're not promised a bull run for the next year, 2 years. We're not, but we do have a range and we can make money in these times. So show lots of love, guys. Comment below what coins you want me to speak about tomorrow. Let's have a great day. I'm going to get back to the trading competition, and let's have a great day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love, Ant fam.